Alright, we're in for a treat. We're playing Heiner, Cornelius, Nezglekt, and Andrin. And specifically, we're playing Heiner carry down the left-hand side. Heiner is surprisingly strong as a carry, as you'll see in this video, so without further ado, let's go through the divinations, the decks, the perks, and the pathing. For the divinations, we rolled 3 basic and 7 fast. We took an upgraded fortune telling. We took an upgraded uproot, and innovate Searing Nova, a corrupted Curse of Exhaustion on Cornelius. We took a headbutt upgraded on Heiner. Nothing here. A Chant of Initiative and an upgraded Emberstorm on Cornelius. A corrupted Unstable Power, a corrupted Inner Fire, a Scavenge, a Setup, a Transmission on Cornelius, and another Headbutt on Heiner. Alright, here we are about to head out of Act 1 town, so let's go over the game plan. With Andrin, at a minimum, we're trying to cast Chant of Initiative and Expert Tracker. The recipient of Chant of Initiative will always be Cornelius, and in the late game, he'll also be the beneficiary of Expert Tracker. In the early game, it's a little bit flexible who we play this on, depending on what the situation calls for. If possible, we'll also be trying to play a Chant of Initiative on Nezglekt if we can find one and have the energy for it. We're going to be finding these cards using Trace, Vigilance, Setup, Scavenge, and Scavenge, and any excess energy we'll be spending on Uproot to apply Vulnerable to the enemies. As for Cornelius, he's on Scroll of Speed duty. Now, if we have cast a Chant of Initiative on Nezglekt, the plan is to play a blue Scroll of Speed on Heiner, digging for it with Bookworm. If we are doing this, we can Expert Tracker or Trace over the yellow Scroll of Speed because we wouldn't need it at that point. However, if we're unable to get a Chant of Initiative off on Nezglekt, we can blue Scroll of Speed Nezglekt and then yellow Scroll of Speed Heiner, which starts an 8 in the hand. We also have 2 Scroll of Intellects on Cornelius, which are both innate. Typically, one of these will go to Nezglekt and one will go to Heiner, but if we need to, both can go to Heiner. Similar with Transmission. Any excess energy will be spent casting damaging cards and applying burn on our enemies. Nezglekt's up next, and his plan is a simple one, to buff Heiner. We're going to be doing this with Bless from Benediction, Inspire from Clarity, Delay Response, and Fortune Telling, and Energize, again from Delay Response and Innovate. In order to negate the slow from Delay Response, we're playing Detoxify, but we could also do that with Banish to grant a buffer to Heiner and stop this slow from happening. To find the key cards, we're going to be chaining through the deck with Expected Prophecy, and we also have this Fanaticism, which actually doesn't deal 15 damage to us because of Heiner's passive. We start with 12 block and 1 fortify. So this will actually only deal 3 damage to us, and then Nezglekt will heal through that through his own passive, which is quite nice. If we can find additional block on Nezglekt, we can upgrade this Fanaticism and just blank the damage every turn or just heal through the marginal damage that we do take, which is a nice little benefit from playing Heiner carry. And then finally on to Heiner. Now Heiner will almost always be starting with 6 energy. Remember, he's going to get at least 1 Scroll of Intellect from Cornelius, and 2 if needed. We also have a Delay Response for Energize from Nezglekt, and this unbelievable Innovate from the Divinations. With that 6 energy, we're going to be casting Heat Laser, Ground Slam, Headbutt, and Headbutt. We're almost always starting with a hand of 10, so this Headbutt's going to do a lot of damage. For powerful uptime, we have these 2 War Paints, and we also have the Inner Fire from Nezglekt if needed. Any excess cards, we're going to be doing Bluff, Punch, and discarding a couple of cards to the Headbutt as needed. For perks, unfortunately Heiner is quite perk intensive, so we couldn't do the full gold that I typically like to do. We also chose to only go 2 speed, so that Heiner would be on parity with Nezglekt. You can see Nez is on 13, and Heiner is on 13, because I want Nezglekt to go before Heiner. For physical, we went with Fury, doing 5% per charge. We were doing blunt damage in the early game, so we went all the way down this tree. We went Fortify, increases blunt and fire damage, which are both damage types that we'll plan to do. Heiner starts with Fortify, and he gets it from his class card. We're playing Ground Slam, and so we'll do Vulnerable, applies an additional charge, and then once we hit level 4, we get Fusion Laser, which will be phenomenal vulnerable application too. As I mentioned, we're going to be transforming our damage to fire once we get past Ignido, the Volcanic Axe, so we went all the way down this tree. And we're going 2 burn. That's because we can't afford enough perk points to go for this very last point of burn, and Cornelius is going to do more than enough burn, so we had to sacrifice somewhere, and this is where we sacrificed. For the one-turn kill style, we have to do powerful, do 10% per charge. It's going to turbocharge our damage. And of course, similarly, we're going to be doing Bless, doing 1.5 damage, but no longer increasing healing received. For Cornelius's perks, we went full Golden Shards, we're playing Scrolls of Speed, so we perked fast, and we might be playing Shock Nova, so I perked slow. He'll be pitching in with damage of his own, so we went all the way down the fire tree, and he'll also be applying a lot of burn to the enemies, particularly in the late game, so we went down this burn tree here. On these support characters, I do really like the Inspire, draws 2 perk, so we have that on Corn Dog as well. We'll go Andrin's perks next, and we have all Golden Shards. Because of Chant of Initiative, we're playing fast, of course. We might be playing Rupture, Captivating Voice for slow, potentially Wolfie in the late game. And I'll probably keep Wild Hunt, so we're going to perk a mark here. I was umming and ahhing about whether to go Sight or Stealth, Dispel with Sight. Typically I'll play this if I'm nervous about getting onto turn 2, or I'm checking Jade Scarabs. I'm not going to do that with this comp, so we just went with an additional Sight because this actually will help Nezglekt heal the team up. I think the prudent thing to do would actually be to have Sight dispelling some Stealth. I went for a buffer just in case we go Ballad of Evasion. We're probably not going to need it, to be honest. We go Vulnerable, it applies an additional charge, and that's because we'll be playing Uproot and potentially Wolfie. And then in the Mystical Tree, we have so many perks spare on Andrin that I perked him all the way down this Insane tree, such that Insane reduces max HP by 2 per charge. And what that's going to do is it's just going to let Nezglekt have a kind of a mini AoE in the early game, because that's the period of the game that we're most nervous about. So this is going to help Nezglekt have a mini AoE, and Andrin can chip in to kind of do a pseudo buff on Nezglekt here. And then finally Nezglekt. We went full Golden Shards. We're trying to make him as least slow as possible. We're going 2 additional Sight charges for the heal. We went Buffer because we're playing Detoxify. For physical, we're allowing enemies to have an additional maximum vulnerable charge. We went 2 block, and the reason here was just in case we find some armor or something, because I mentioned already Fanaticism. If we upgrade this, then we could in theory just blank this because of Heiner's passive, and if Nezglekt picks up a block item, then we should be able to blank the Fanaticism completely instead of finding an evasion armor, for example. Then Elemental will be applying a lot of powerful, so we went all the way down this tree, and I've touched on already how I like the support characters to have the Inspire draws 2 perk. We're using Divine Power in the late game and Benediction early, so we went Bless. And then as I mentioned with Andrin, we're allowing Insane to reduce enemies' max HP by 2 per charge. And so with these two, Nezglekt essentially has a 6 damage AoE because of his passive Mental Leech, which applies 1 Insane at the end of each turn. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little damage buff. But the early game is really bad, so we need this. I think it's the best thing that we can be doing with the perks. So that's where we're at, and let's head out of town and just go through the pathing one more time. For the high score run, we go up to the caravan, we come down here to the town outskirts, over to the main road. Up here, there'll be an additional node here, and why I love Cornelius is he gets us into the hatch without suffering any curses, which is fantastic. We'll be coming up to the rift, down to Otis, up to the border, down and all the way up here to Ylmer. In the caravan, there's nothing that we want here, but we do have to go here for an additional node for score. Burning Orb was tempting, but I don't think we need it. I think we'll be a-okay without it. So with that in mind, I'll see you in Fight 1 to see if we can OTK. Alright, we'll kick things off with a Trace. And I see 2 cards that I quite like here in Uproot. So immediately I'm going to restart this combat. And I'm going to start with the Vigilance instead, drawing into the 2 uproots. I'm going to trace myself. We have 3 Chant of Initiatives, so I'm going to get rid of all of these, get rid of the setup because I have a Scavenge in hand. Scavenge back the setup. We'll draw 3. And in order to afford all these cards, I have to put the trace back, such that I can Adrenaline, Uproot, Chant of Initiative Corn Dog, Expert Tracker Corn. We'll get rid of the Heat Wave here. We were fine with single Chant of Initiative because the fastest enemy is 19. When we Scroll of Speed Heiner, he's going to be 19 too, so he'll go first. We'll Scroll of Speed Nezglekt, Scroll of Intellect Nez, Transmission, Scroll. Get some damage on the enemies. On Nezglekt, we will start with the Scry on ourselves, getting rid of Unexpected, like this. We'll draw, put Unexpected back. We'll Innovate Heiner, Clarity. We'll draw into our Expected, it's fine, putting a bit of burn on Heiner because he has block. We'll draw 3, put the Scry back. Now we can Fanaticism, even though we take a bit of damage, we'll heal through this with our passive. We Benediction Heiner, Fortune Telling, getting rid of the Guard, the Warpaint and the Sunder, and we'll banish out a Sunder like this. Finish off with the Delay Response, passing the turn to Heiner. Now on Heiner, we're at 5 powerful, so we'll start with the Warpaint. We'll Heat Laser because it's predicated on the size of our hand. And interestingly enough, I could Ground Slam right now, which is what I'll typically do next, but I actually have enough energy where I can guard myself like this to buff Ground Slam because we have extra Fortify. We will Headbutt the bad guy. We'll double bluff. Headbutt Jasper again. And you can see Roasted Corny would die to burn. And we have a couple of punches to finish him off. Here we'll take the Shock Nova on Cornelius, as it will be good in the late game, and we'll keep moving on. Our first Corruptor fight is Noxious Parasites. And the fastest enemy unit here is 20 base speed, so I am going to have to double Chant of Initiative, because the yellow Scroll of Speed would put Heiner up to 19, which would not be fast enough, and then the Wolf will slow Heiner down. So I'm going to kick things off with a Trace. Unfortunately, I can't take these cards because I do really need the second Chant of Initiative, and Expert Tracker's right here. We'll double Vigilance. Chant of Initiative Nez, Chant of Initiative Cornelius. Now I can Expert Tracker Cornelius, and I can get rid of this yellow Scroll of Speed. We don't need this anymore. We're just going to get the blue one with Bookworm, and we'll ditch this Fireball as well. I'll Trace Nezglekt. Very nice, we can get rid of this hatch. We did draw the blue Scroll of Speed, so this Bookworm was not necessary after all. Searing Nova, Fiery Shield. We kick things off with a Fanaticism on Nez, because we know he's going to heal through it. We'll draw. We'll Inner Fire Heiner, which is fine because he has block. We'll Expected Prophecy again with 4 energy up. I think we get rid of this Expected Prophecy so we can spend our 4 energy. We'll start by Scrying Heiner, getting rid of a couple of guards and a Warpaint. Scry him again. This looks very good. We'll Fortune Telling Heiner. I would ditch the hatch, but I'm actually going to keep it to vanish it instead. So we'll do this to get rid of the hatch so we can't redraw it with our bluffs. We'll Clarity, Delay Response, give some Bless. We'll kick things off with a Warpaint, Heat Laser. Then we'll Ground Slam. We will hit the front boy. We'll bluff. Hit the bad character. Bluff again. Very nice. Everyone's going to die to burn. Pass the turn. We'll take this upgraded repetition training which is going to be great later in the game. And we'll take nothing else here and see you shortly at the hatch. Just as a reminder, before we enter into the hatch, we actually extort the farmer for Betty. And we're happy, we want this to critically fail because it gives us an extra fight for more score. Unfortunately, we do get a low self-esteem in each character's deck that we'll have to deal with, but this gets us an extra fight, which is more XP. We're at the hatch, and one of the nice things about having Cornelius in the squad is that he has a character event that just gets us in there for free, and we don't have to worry about broken bones, which can be troublesome in addition to the low self-esteem that are already in our characters' decks. So we'll select this, and it's also really good XP. So Corn Dog here helping us out, avoiding those curses. Alright, we're at the Corruptor fight, just before the Imp statue. We're up against heavy weaponry, so our enemies are immune to vulnerable, and we have to clear this on turn 1. So to begin with, I'll look at the top of the deck, and I can see some cards that I already want, so I'm actually going to restart the fight. As you probably cottoned on by now. Will Vigilance, and now we'll Trace. Perfect, we can get rid of low self-esteem, we'll get rid of this Chant of Initiative, we'll get rid of this setup, and we'll keep chaining through the deck. We can scavenge into our setup, draw, scavenge into our setup, and draw. Okay. So Uproot is pretty much useless. We're going to Chant, Expert Tracker, Corn Dog. We don't need this Scroll of Speed. We obviously don't need these. I want to keep digging through the deck, find maybe a transmission or something like that. And we'll trace Nezglekt. Okay, and get rid of the low self-esteem. On Cornelius, we'll be digging out our Scroll of Speed, for obvious reasons, putting that on Heiner. Of this Ember Storm that we picked up. We have this Ember Storm that we got in a few fights. We got 2 of these corrupted Ember Storms, which is pretty cool. So we'll do this. And actually I'm going to fireball the front guy, and you'll see why in a second. I know that seems strange, but it's the most damage on the front unit, because we want to bluff with Heiner through that front unit if possible. Okay, so we're going to start with an Inner Fire. You can see that Andrin sustained a bit of damage against the sheep, so he's going to passively heal up over time. We're going to OTK almost everyone, and Nezglekt's going to passively heal them up over time. We'll put this. Oh, we picked up this Clarity, but it's the wrong color. We'll keep drawing here. We do not want this Clarity. We have to change that to a blue one. I'm actually going to scry myself. Okay, get rid of this Clarity, and then we can expect it one more time. We don't have enough energy for Banish, so we'll put Banish back. We're going to Detox, Delay, Innovate, Clarity, and then Heiner's going to go up to 5 Inspire shortly. We're going to be aggressive, get rid of this War Paint, get rid of the lowest self-esteem. Fortune Telling away the Guard, but keeping everything else. This is all our damage. And we're now down to 13 cards in the deck with 5 draw, and we have 2 bluffs, so we have a very good chance of finding all of our key cards. Give some Bless and pass the turn. Now on Heiner, we're going to start with a War Paint, Heat Laser. And now we can Ground Slam. The Ground Slam's going to do 38 damage to the front unit. If we had not fireballed the front unit, the Corny would still be alive and would have to eat a bluff. So there's actually more damage fireballing Corny. We'll bluff twice into the pig. We're going to headbutt this Imp. We'll headbutt the back guy. Punch and punch. Perfect. Here we'll take a Scavenge on Andrin, and I think that's it. As a reminder, we're trying to fail the Imp roll, which we did successfully. We got a 4, which is great because we get to fight the Imp, and we can still go around the corner and pick up the boon afterwards. Obviously, getting the fight is extra XP. We then take the Imp fight, and I'm just skipping ahead to Heiner's turn because we absolutely obliterate the Imp. Ground Slam, Headbutt, and Headbutt. So much damage. Here we won't take anything. And you can see we've hit level 2, which is great. And we get this boon. And there's some really interesting choices here. I think any 3 characters could actually take this boon. We could give it to Cornelius, because we'll be playing equivalent exchange in the late game. We could give it to Nezglekt, because he'll be playing overchargeable divine power. And we could also give it to Heiner, because he doesn't have energy reduction, and we do need energy on Heiner. I think ultimately we'll give it to Heiner, like this. And that'll be really nice, the heat surge on Heiner. I'm going to level up Andrin to level 2 right now. Nezglekt, Night Terror is fantastic, so we'll keep that at level 2. I think we'll skip Hellflame, because we don't need that against the next boss, because he's very fire resistant. And we won't take reactive laser either, but we will level up Heiner after this fight. So let's get into the next act. Oh, I will take this woolly hat on... I'm going to take this on Nezglekt, funnily enough, because now with this woolly hat, we will be able to upgraded fanaticism without hurting ourselves at all. And I think it's touch and go. These slippers on Cornelius here. I think I'm going to leave this and just take the gold instead. So after this, I'll see you in the Belfior fight. Okay, we have an absolutely magical OTK line against Belfior, and let's go through it together. I know that the top card is Scavenge, and I'm going to trace myself, getting rid of all of these cards. Next, I'm going to scavenge back the Wild Hunt, and then I'm going to play it and draw into setup. Next, I need to trace myself again, and I really need this Chant of Initiative, but I'm actually going to get rid of it, keeping Uproot, Scavenge, and Scavenge. Next, we'll set up. We'll put Expector Tracker back on the top of the deck, Scavenge and Adrenaline to the top of the deck, and Scavenge setup one more time. We will draw into the Chant of Initiative that is now more expensive, which is going to put just a little bit more mark on Belfior. And it turns out that this is the difference between an OTK and no OTK, which is pretty incredible. I'm going to get rid of this stuff from Corn's deck and pass the turn. We'll pull our Scroll of Speed out, Scroll Heiner and Nez. We're going to double Scroll of Intellect Heiner this time round, saving this transmission for Nezglekt, drawing into Fiery Shield, doing paltry damage there, almost nothing, because he's so fire resistant. With Nezglekt, we're going to scry ourselves, getting rid of this garbage off the top of the deck. We will Expected Prophecy, putting this back. We're Expected Prophecy again, putting the Clarity back. And then I'm going to scry myself, getting rid of this last Clarity here, because we won't need it. We'll Expected Prophecy a third time, putting Delay Response back. Well, Night Terror, Belfior will Inner Fire, Innovate, give him a bunch of Inspire, Fanaticism. We're going to start things off with a Fortune Telling, getting rid of this Sunder Armor and a War Paint and a Guard. And then a Banish, getting rid of Ground Slam, Guard, and I think that's everything. Let's pass the turn. Okay, here we go. Let's start with a War Paint. We're then going to Heat Laser, Sunder Armor, Repetition back the Sunder Armor, Bluff, Headbutt discarding Low Self-Esteem, Headbutt discarding Guard, Punch, and Punch again. It's absolutely amazing. And he dies. What a one-turn kill. Incredible stuff. I don't think we need an additional Scavenge on Andrin. We already have 3. But we will take this Bookworm on Cornelius, and we'll keep moving forward. We're at the first Corruptor fight after the Otis node, against Melancholy, which, as you can see, shuffles 2 Sad into the deck and increases enemies' resistances by 10%. I know there's a Vigilance on top of the deck because it's an 8, so I'll draw into it. Going to get rid of all of these so I can get into a Scavenge here. We'll draw that, We'll trace ourselves, putting a setup into the discard pile and getting it back out with scavenge. We'll play our setup, getting rid of sad, and unfortunately we did not hit the expert tracker in this round. We'll chant of initiative Cornelius, and as you can see the fastest enemy is 21, the cutthroat. But he's not really doing much, he's stalking and smell blood. So what I can do is uproot, scavenge back the trace, and we're just going to let him go because he's not really threatening us. We will trace Nezglekt and get rid of this clarity. On Cornelius, we'll grab our Scroll of Speed, a Scroll of Intellect for each of Heiner and Nez, and Ember Storm. On Nezglekt, we'll kick things off with an Expected Prophecy because we have 2. We'll put the Self-Esteem back. Then we'll scry ourselves, getting rid of all this garbage off the top of the deck. Drawing with Inner Fire, drawing again with Expected Prophecy, and putting this Detoxify back. We'll give Heiner a bunch of buffs. We'll put Night Terror on Sharon. Fanaticism. We'll start Fortune Telling, getting rid of all of these, I think, apart from Ground Slam, and then Banish, getting rid of Sad and Thunder Armor. The rest are pretty good. Finishing things off with a Delay Response. We'll let Cutthroat do nothing. And then on Heiner, a few interesting things. Number 1, his card count is a little bit off because we have this Searing Dagger, shuffling a Searing Blast into the deck. Number 2, we'll kick things off with a War Paint, but what we could do is kind of chop and change our damage with Reactive Laser. So, for example, Trunky is pretty resistant to Blunt, but the Shaman is pretty resistant to Fire. So what I could do here is actually start things off with Ground Slam, like this. Then Heat Laser. Then Reactive Laser to transform Headbutt to Fire. We're going to Headbutt Sharon, which sounds quite weird to say. We're going to Searing Blast, punch the Shaman, and we'll Headbutt Sharon a second time for good measure. And as you can see, it looks like Trunky is going to survive. But, interestingly, Reactive Laser says when you block, deal damage to the enemy monsters. One thing that's worth noting is even though it says 34 here, we lose Powerful at the end of the turn. So it's not going to do 34 damage, it will throw off your calculations. It will do some damage, but certainly not 34 because we're going to lose our 7 Powerful. We also have Taunt, so we can force the block. So now when I end the turn, Trunky's going to hit Heiner, and he's going to Reactive Laser them all down. Fantastic. And the reward for this is a Corrupted Enrage, which is incredible. We're going to keep this for the entire run. I'm very tempted by the Fanaticism, but I know better, I'm not going to take it. And so we'll keep moving on. Alright, this is the very next fight, just before the Dryad. And we're up against Armageddon, the counter-corruptor, that makes all the enemies super tanky to the exact 2 types of damage that we do. So just take a look at the resistances here. It's pretty bleak in most cases. We're going to start things with the Vigilance. Then I'm going to trace myself like this, getting rid of all the cards here, apart from Scavenge. We will blue trace ourselves to put this setup into the discard pile. Get rid of everything else. We'll scavenge it back, like always. And we'll put back this Adrenaline. We're going to chant Cornelius, try and get some vulnerable on the enemies. This time we're going to Expert Tracker Heiner. Going to get rid of this Guard and the Thunder Armor. We'll scavenge back this Trace and put that on Nezglekt. Getting rid of Detox, Clarity, and one more Clarity here. Now this is perfect, so we're going to Bookworm. The fastest unit is 21, the Cutthroat again. He's being a bit more productive this time around, but with Corn Dog, we have a lot of outs. We can either double Chant of Initiative, but we knew we were drawing Shock Nova, so we can slow the enemies down. Fantastic. We'll Scroll of Intellect Nez, Scroll of Intellect Heiner, pass the turn. On Nezglekt, I'm going to draw to begin with on Expected Prophecy, put back the Self-Esteem, and then scry myself, getting rid of the low self-esteem here, and I think getting rid of the scry as well. We'll then Inner Fire, Expected Prophecy, putting this expected prophecy back on the top. Fanaticism, Night Terror Sharon again, sorry Sharon, and buff Heiner. We will Fortune Telling Heiner, getting rid of this Sunder Armor, I think. Then we'll banish Heiner, getting rid of War Paint, and I think 1 punch is probably fine. And then we'll get him up to 5 Inspire here. Okay, this Corrupted Enrage is going to do some work, so we'll kick things off with that. We will start with the Heat Laser. I'm then going to headbutt Shaman this time. Sharon escaped a 3rd headbutt for now. And then we will Reactive Laser. Now we're going to headbutt Sharon for a 3rd time. Sorry, Sharon. We will do 1 of these. We're going to Ground Slam. We'll Searing Blast. Oh, we have so much more damage. We can bluff into something else. This is awesome. So that's the Armageddon Corruptor. Piece of cake. I'm tempted by an uproot here. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to take it. We'll keep moving forward. Here we are against Ylmir. And we've absolutely obliterated everyone on our way here. I don't think we've taken damage yet. The only noteworthy change is this Emerald Necklace corrupted on Cornelius. We'll kick things off with a Trace, ditching the setup and the Chant of Initiative. We'll scavenge that setup to the top and draw into it. Instead of Vigilancing, I'm going to draw first so that we can start accumulating mark on the enemies. We'll scavenge back our setup. Keep accumulating mark as we go. We're going to chain through the deck with scavenge and setup. Putting back this Chant of Initiative. Unfortunately, the mark is... Okay, come on. It's all marking. It's all proccing on Tainted Trunky. We'll uproot. We'll Expert Tracker, getting rid of these 2 and keeping the rest. And then we'll Trace Nezglekt. I think getting rid of a Detox is probably safe here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, on Cornelius, we'll fetch our Scroll of Speed as per usual. Scroll of Speed, Scroll of Speed. I like Fireball, but not as much as Energy and Card Draw. Sorry, Fireball. Let's pass the turn to Nez. Okay, I do really want an Expected Prophecy, and there it is. I'll probably get rid of this Clarity, I think. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll draw. We'll draw again into another Expected. That's fantastic. Okay, we'll put back Fanaticism for now. We'll draw again. Lovely. We'll put that Clarity back. We will Night Terror the boss. Innovate. Fanaticism. Give Heiner some card draw here. We'll Fortune Telling Heiner. Getting rid of these, I think. And then we will banish Heiner. Honestly, this looks pretty good to me. And let's delay response. Alright, we'll Enrage. We'll kick things off with Heat Laser. And I think we Reactive Laser straight away into a Ground Slam. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I think we actually bluff later. Searing Blast first. We will start bluffing. Oh, nice. Okay, we'll Sunder Armor. It's going to do a lot of damage. We'll bluff again. We will Headbutt. Punch. Oh yeah, we have more than enough. Very nice. Ylmir down. So that's a bit of a deep dive. Oh, we got another Scroll of Intellect. Oh my god, and a Corrupted Bluff. Okay, this is so good. Wow. This is a deep dive into Act 1, and we'll pick things up in Act 2, where we'll go over the Level 3 game plan. As we head into Act 2, here is just a brief reminder of the high score pathing. Alright, we're about to head out of Act 2 town, so let's go over the game plan. On Andrin, we bought an additional Adrenaline, a captivating voice to slow problematic enemies, and we removed a Chant of Initiative. That's partly because we got this Lapis necklace on Nezglekt. I had to Google how to pronounce that, by the way. And so we don't need as many chant of initiatives, and we have such consistency that I removed one. We upgraded our scavenge, we bought an additional setup, and I think that's everything from Andrin's point of view. On Nezglekt, we traded out our Corrupted Inner Fire, unfortunately, and the Benediction for a Divine Power. We just don't need to be doing that anymore, and trim the deck down to 16 cards. On Cornelius, we upgraded our Bookworm. We removed a lot of crap, including the Corrupted Searing Nova. I know it's shiny, but it was just terrible, so we got rid of it. And we, of course, have the Scroll of Intellect that we just picked up. On Heiner, we, of course, have our Corrupted Bluff. We bought this Repetition Training that we'll be on the lookout for a free card upgrade for. And we bought this upgraded Pummel, because this will be very important for the Forge boss. Outside of that, we just removed a lot of crap from Heiner's deck. Lastly, we bought this Rifty on Heiner. So with that in mind, let's get ready to head out. And as you can see, there's a Monty on the way, and a Colin too. So that's why we bought the Captivating Voice on Andrin. I hate these guys so much, and I like slowing them down and killing them. I think they've caused me so many problems over the years. So let's keep moving. All right, we're here at the Monty fight, and we're up against heavy weaponry. Note that if we were against heavenly armaments, then Monty would be sped up to 26, so Andrin would still go first. And if that's the case, we would absolutely have to find Captivating Voice to slow Monty down. The reason he's such an issue is because he speeds up all the enemies, gives them evasion. The fight doesn't become impossible, but it's just a real pain. We'll probably take some damage. This guy would screw around with our speed strategy. It's just something we would like to avoid entirely. So let's start with a Trace. Uproots are not needed because we're up against heavy weaponry. And Cornelius is actually pretty fast, so we should be in a good spot here where I don't actually need to Captivating Voice Monty this time because I can speed up Cornelius. So let's draw. We'll draw into our Wild Hunt like this, so we can start proccing and accumulating mark on the enemies. Very nice. We'll just chain through the deck with Setup and Scavenge, accumulating mark as we go. And we can put back one Chant of Initiative. We'll chant up Corndog. We're going to find Shock Nova if we can. Yeah, okay, perfect. It's on the top of the deck. We don't need this second Bookworm because Scroll of Speed is also at the top of the deck. We'll trace Nezglekt, getting rid of Detox and Clarity. We'll scavenge back the Trace and put it this time on Heiner, getting rid of Sunder Armor, I think. And then we'll still Captivating Voice just because it accumulates more mark from Wild Hunt. Passing the turn to Corndog. We'll fetch our Scroll of Intellect out the deck. Usual stuff, Scroll of Speed. We'll put 2 Scroll of Intellects on Heiner and 1 on Nez. Shock Nova them down. Now they're all slower than our team. Perfect. Passing the turn to Nez. We'll kick things off with a Carrot. We'll Fanaticism into Expected. We'll put a Clarity back on top of the deck. We will scry ourselves just because we can afford to. This already looks very good. We'll Expected. Heiner has 2 Inspire, so I don't need both Clarities here. We can Clarity, Innovate, Night Terror Monty, Scry Heiner again, getting rid of a Headbutt maybe. We will Divine Power, Fortune Telling, getting rid of this Repetition Training. Everything else looks good. Banish. This looks great, and finish things off with a delay. Passing the turn to Heiner. We'll start with an Enrage. Then I think we will Heat Laser. Then we'll Reactive Laser into probably a Ground Slam. We'll Bluff a couple of times. Okay, I need to pummel before drawing more cards with Bluff. Very nice. We will Repetition Training back the pummel. Pummel the Swamp Elemental. Searing Blast. Punch. Punch. Lovely. That's how we speed control Monty. We won't take anything for these rewards. And the reward for the Corruptor is a free upgrade, which is amazing. So we'll put this straight on the Divine Power from Nezglekt so we can start overcharging this on Cornelius. I think we'll actually make Shock Nova just a little bit cheaper for now. I do want to upgrade the Scroll of Intellect, but for now I'll make the Shock Nova cheaper. And then on Heiner, we plan to upgrade the Repetition Training. We'll make it a yellow one so that we can get back our Pummel and keep recasting it for cheap with the blue Repetition Training. All right, fantastic. So let's keep moving through the run. We've skipped to the final turn of the Minotaur fight, and you can see already our pet and our armor did like 200 damage to him. We picked up an extra Repetition Training from an arena fight here, and I also have this Shield Breaker, which honestly we don't really need, but it just makes the Forge boss so trivial. So I wanted to show you guys that. We'll start with Enrage. I think then we'll Sunder Armor, Heat Laser, Pummel, Repetition back a Pummel, make it cheaper, and we'll Repetition it back again. And we'll Bluff to finish him off. Lovely. And after this point, we're going to hit level 3, which is huge. All right, we're at the subsequent fight against Colin, just after the Minotaur. And unfortunately, from the arena, we get these horrendous cards called Arena Champion. And a fun fact about the Arena Champion is it was actually misclassified as a boon in the Tome of Knowledge. For some reason, it's in the boon section of the tome instead of the injury. So fun fact about the card. And I'm joking a little bit, and hear me out, okay. For the OTK style, I think it is closer to an injury than a boon. I'm not saying it is an injury, and I know it replaces itself, but my argument is it's closer to an injury than it is a boon for this specific style of play. And I know people are going to pile on, but here's why. So, as you know, we're playing a lot of deck manipulation. We're playing Trace, we're scavenging back the Trace, we're playing Scry, 2 of them, we're playing Fortune Telling, we're playing Banish. And what Arena Champion does is it eats a card look. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say Heiner, just a really simple example, let's say Heiner has 15 cards in his deck plus an Arena Champion, and that's 16 cards in his deck. And let's just say we're playing defensive Heiner, and we absolutely have to draw into Steel Forge. It's the difference between winning and losing a fight. So with the Arena Champion, if the Arena Champion is in the top 2/3 of the deck, let's say we have 2 Scries on Nezglekt, right? And he has 16 cards in his deck now, not 15. So we Scry Heiner, we get rid of the top 5, and unfortunately Arena Champion's in that top 5. Then we Scry him again, and he has no Inspire, and Steel Forge is literally the bottom card of the deck, right? This is just a hypothetical example. Because of Arena Champion making the deck fatter, it eats a look of a deck manipulation card, and then we would draw 5 cards, and Steel Forge would be the very, very bottom card of the deck. We wouldn't get it. And the same is true of, let's say it's 17 or 18 cards. The point still stands is that the Arena Champion just eats a card look. So I really don't like it. And I'll take it. I'll spend our hard-earned gold to take it out. And the reason is, as you can see, we're just not really going to turn 2. So this extra energy that we get on turn 2 is just, for me at least, it's not worth the trade-off that our card manipulation just gets a lot worse. So I don't know, maybe I can see an argument for keeping it on Cornelius, but even then it's like, what is it even doing for us with this style of play? We're not going to turn 2 anyway. So the fact that if I'm going to trace myself, look, it's so annoying. If this wasn't here, we could have seen an extra card to get rid of. But now I have to get rid of this first because I want to keep digging for setup. Yeah, we'll still probably win the game. But now, Okay, I do just find it, but let's say setup was one card later, right, in the top card of the deck, instead of where it currently is it would basically be Arena Champion's fault. If it wasn't there, we would have found it. So let's say it was card number 7, right? If we hadn't had the Arena Champion, we would have got setup, and so that's my point. It eats into our card decks. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I won't talk about this again until the next video. But I feel strongly about it. It's not that bad, but I find that people just kind of blindly take it, and it's not the absolute worst. I'll give you that, but it's not good for what we're trying to do. Look, we're going to slow down Colin here. Boom. He can't shock Nova us anymore. Very nice. Lovely stuff. We don't even need our own shock Nova. It's amazing. So that's why we're playing Captivating Voice, is this horrendous shock Nova from Colin. We don't have to suffer from that anymore. But yeah, Arena Champion, terrible card. Should be a curse. Never take it. That should be the takeaway. No, I'm kidding. But people that have played with me know that I hate it just because people mindlessly take it and think, oh yeah, this is great. And I find that is not true a good chunk of the time for this style of play. Again, I'll caveat for this style of play specifically. So I've had some. I could talk. I'm going to do like an hour video about why this card sucks. It will be a controversial video, and I know people are probably still staunchly disagreeing with my reasoning. But look, try this style. Okay, try this style of play. Just give it a shot, and then tell me that you think it's good after trying it. Right? At least try it. I don't know if we need that. Oh God, do I even want this? I guess we'll do this just to get rid of that. So, yeah, that's my hot take for the day. Arena Champion is closer to an injury than a boon, and it will take a lot of convincing to make me think otherwise. I think it's no good. We are absolutely destroying our enemies here. What do we got on top? Headbutt. We'll bosh all these guys down. We will, I don't know, repetition back a punch or something like that. Punch. Sunder. And then, yeah, headbutt. So, yeah. Oh, Arena Champion. I'll pay money. I can't wait to find a card remove. I'm excited about that. We'll take this Ground Slam on Heiner. And I'm going to go aggressive. No Master Spell on Nez. We'll just keep moving forward. All right, so we're at the back end of that fight. And a few things. As you can see, we have a level up still. I'm holding these on 3 characters. I leveled up Nezglekt because Resourceful is so good, but we can actually get away without Iron Furnace for now, as well as Incendiary and Momentum on Cornelius and Andrin, respectively. And I'm holding these up because we're going to node manipulate shortly. And I'm not talking about the Forge, because Heiner gets us into the Forge for free. I'm talking about the Anvil. So we're going to go say that we'll look out for this guy's books. And in the Black Forge, again, another reason why I like this comp. Cornelius gets us into the Hatch, and Heiner gets us into the Black Forge. So we can go on through, no rolls needed. And at this node here, the Outer Forge, we have the opportunity to get the Anvil. And that's why I'm holding these level ups, because we'll actually get 4 tries to node manipulate the Anvil. So we're going to come over here. We'll do Corn Dogs. I'm not sure if it makes a difference here. We'll do Corn Dogs character event, and then we'll jump into this fight. So I've skipped the Corruptor fight and got straight to the Anvil rolls. And you can see what happened. We didn't get it. So I leveled up Heiner. Didn't get it. Leveled up Cornelius. We weren't even close. We critically failed. I leveled up Andrin, Cornelius, and Heiner. And hey, we're pretty close. We have a 5. We're 2 off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the end of the previous fight. And take a slightly different card reward, and do the same thing to see if we can get through it. Alright, we've loaded back into the Corruptor fight just before the Anvil roll. So I'm going to just take the final turn again. We will Heat Laser, Reactive Laser, Ground Slam, absolutely obliterate the enemies here. Bluff and bluff. So before, when we got that outcome, we took nothing other than a Scroll of Intellect on the characters. We took nothing here, we took nothing on Nez, we took nothing on Heiner, we took the Scroll of Intellect. This time I know that if I can just displace the cards in Heiner's deck, there's a chance we can make it through. So I'm going to take this Wrecking Ball as a highest cost card. It's also not the worst. So we'll take the Wrecking Ball. We'll go back to the Forge outcome. And we'll do Momentum, Incendiary, Iron Furnace. We have a 3% chance here. And we'll do the exact same thing as we did before. And perfect. It feels so dirty. I know. It's horrible in a RNG roguelike game. But we frequently save the game. I go over how to do this in my high scoring video. And yeah, that's how we get the Anvil. So you can kind of mix and match. You can take card remove corruptors. You can displace cards in the decks until you eventually get the outcome that you want, which is an extremely try-hard mechanic. So I'm going to take the Anvil. It's going to be amazing on Heiner. Every time you play a card, he gains Fortify, which improves his base damage, and it also improves the damage types that we're doing. The Fortify is going to help, and as well as the base damage. So we'll take the Anvil on Heiner, and I'll see you up at the Forge boss Dwarf Face. All right, here we are. Just a couple of things worth noting is we picked up a blue Scroll of Intellect from the robot fight just before this, and of course Heiner's interaction there gets him an improved laser, which is a phenomenal card. We'll kick things off with a trace like usual, getting rid of this Chant of Initiative. Speed doesn't really matter here. We will set up into our Wild Hunt to start proccing it, and then set up again. Okay, we kind of fizzled out, but that's okay. Just one thing that's worth noting is we've taken 34 damage so far in the run, and we're at the mini-boss. We don't need the Scroll of Speed. I don't really want to take Ember Storm because I'm kind of proud of having a low damage number, so we'll get rid of those two. And then we'll trace Heiner, getting rid of this punch. Okay, so Scroll of Intellect. Wow, we have so many of these now. We should change some of these to yellow soon. We'll do three Tomb mix, I think. 2 on Nez, just to give him the energy. We have enough Inspire to get Heiner to 5 anyway. And Nez has the Divine Power, so I don't mind Nez having more energy. On Night Terror, the boss. Obviously, we kill the boss if we just kill the heart. We'll Broccoli Heiner like this, start drawing into the deck. We will Clarity, I guess, and delay response. The speed doesn't matter again. Keep going, put the Clarity back. We'll scry ourselves, I guess, and we'll put back a Fortune Telling. We've got a bunch of, yeah, we've already full Inspire on Heiner. We'll scry him. This looks great. Fanaticism, and put a bunch of Bless on Heiner. Incredible. All right, will we proc it? Oh, we dodged it. We dodged the reactive laser. With our damage is untouched. Nice. So we'll start with Enrage, and look at this shield breaker value. Oh my god, he has 327 armor, no longer, and you call that a laser? This is a laser. we're accumulating Fortify from the Anvil as we go, and as you can tell, we are so strong. We're going to gun him down with a pummel. Unbelievable. We're cruising now. Wait till we hit level 4. You think this is good? Wait till we hit level 4. We'll take a Carnage, because why not? We're going to be converting this to fire shortly with Fire Axe, and this is just an amazing DPS card. We'll keep going here and see what we get. Bronze gear on Heiner is kind of interesting, but we're about to convert all of his damage to fire. So I'd rather have 50 gold, to be honest, than just a temporary buff, because this is going to be meaningless at the end of the act. And then we'll take the lava orb on Corn Dog, and yeah, let's keep moving. I'd rather have the money. All right, these are our rewards just before the Ignado fight. So we've taken 2 fights since the Forge boss. We're about to jump into Ignado, and we're going to take another Carnage on Heiner. We should be all set for Act 3, and I'll see you in the Ignado fight. All right, we'll start with the Trace, getting rid of a Chant of Initiative. Rest of this looks good. We'll start chaining through the deck. Wild Hunt to accumulate mark. Andrin's turns are just unbelievable with Adrenaline setup and Scavenge. You know, people ask for Scout hybrids, and I think it's so dangerous because look at what you can do. You can just get through the entire deck. Scout cards are so ridiculous. Look at that. We'll get rid of this Hell Flame. We're not doing fire damage to the boss. And we'll trace Heiner. Getting rid of these, I think. Yeah, the boss is super resistant to fire, so we're just going to do blunt if we can. We'll pop the spike. That's very nice. We have full Scroll of Speed redundancy. We only have 3 books in the deck, so 2 bookworms will always get us at least 1 Scroll of Speed. We'll speed up Heiner and Nez. We'll do 2 Scroll of Intellects for each of them. We'll Broccoli Heiner. Innovate Heiner. Start chaining through our own deck. Putting back a Clarity, I think. We'll scry ourselves and get rid of that. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. Get rid of the 1 Clarity. Put Banish back. We'll Detox, Delay. We'll Fanaticism, Clarity. We'll scry Heiner. Oh, we're going to get rid of this Punch, Shield Breaker. We don't need the Reactive Laser because we're going to do blunt, not fire. We'll finish things off with... I don't think we need these Ground Slams. We'll use Carnage for the vulnerable application. So we'll get rid of the Ground Slams. And then a bunch of Bless. Passing a turn. Starting with an Enrage. Into Improved Laser, then we'll Bluff into a Bluff, into a Bluff, and then a Heat Laser. We've got all of our Anvil procs. We're at 14 Fortify. We'll Carnage. We will Pummel. Repetition gets us back the Pummel at a discount. Pummel him again. And then pummel him one more time for good measure. Awesome. Wow. I like having a second Divine Power for a couple of reasons. One, it's just good redundancy. And 2, if we pick up Demonic Tutor, I don't mind Demonic Tutoring this either. And we'll definitely take this Infuriate. That is unbelievable on Heiner. And as far as the rewards go, we'll definitely take this Volcanic Axe on Heiner, and I think that's everything from here. So let's keep moving, and I'll see you in Act 3, where we'll cover the level 4 game plan. As we head into Act 3, here is just a brief reminder of the high school parting route. All right, we're about to head out of the Act 3 town. And Andrin's deck, I think, is exactly the same, so no changes here. Nezglekt, we trimmed a Clarity, otherwise his deck is the same. And Cornelius, just can we take a second just to admire the beauty of this deck? I mean, literally, look at the symmetry here. We've got 2 Bookworms, 2 Scroll of Speeds, all the reds at the top, all the blues separated symmetrically by a group of Scroll of Intellects. I'm going to frame this and put it in our bedroom. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure my wife will be delighted about that. Happy birthday, darling. And I'll keep you posted how that one goes. On Cornelius, we're doing absolutely everything we can to try and get him to 18 speed. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that we will be able to speed manipulate Cornelius to 26 if we get him to 18, which will allow us to OTK the Hydra. So we're doing everything we can to find some way to get him to 18 base speed. And then on Heiner, we trimmed a lot of the fat. We don't need the pummel anymore. We just needed that for Act 2. And we got rid of a ground slam, even though it was really good before. When we hit level 4 with Heiner, we'll get Fusion Laser. And Fusion Laser is going to be more than enough vulnerable applications. So ground slam is no longer energy efficient once we hit level 4, so I took it out. We invested a lot of shards into Heiner. We bought a Whirlwind, we bought an upgraded Enrage, and we switched this Infuriate to a yellow one. So his deck is very, very streamlined now. We're looking very, very good. As a reminder with Heiner, we of course picked up the Volcanic Axe, which changes all of our damage to fire, including the Dryad Mask and Rifty. And the synergy is unbelievable. So with the Anvil, 3 times a turn, we'll gain Fortify, which will increase our fire damage after the first 3 cards we play. Then all of our Carnages are now fire. And when we play an attack, we gain +1 to fire damage and 8 block 5 times a turn. So the synergy in Heiner's deck is pretty amazing. Then Cornelius is going to be applying a bunch of burn between Hellflame and Emberstorm on the enemies. As a reminder, he has Incendiary. When dealing damage with a hit, apply 3 burn. Just one other thing that's worth noting is typically there are a couple of corruptors that I'm deathly afraid of in Act 3. One of them is Heavenly Armaments, and the other one is Thorn's Proliferation. And usually I will tech hard for Thorn's Proliferation, even above and beyond an Uproot with a comp like this. Like I play Celestial Brilliance sometimes on Nezglekt, for example. But here, no Celestial Brilliance. We're not worried about Thorns, and that's because Heiner is a beast. He starts off with 12 block. He gains 8 block with every attack, so that already mitigates some Thorns. He has ridiculously high piercing resist already. And we have the Anvil on Heiner, which gives him Reinforce, another 30% pierce resist. And we have 2 heat lasers that each give 16 and 20 block respectively. So normally Thorn's Proliferation is just a run ender, unless you specifically tech for it. But with Heiner carry, we have so many tools to blanket that we don't need to have further tech on Thorn's Proliferation. Just one other thing to note is we bought this Golden Chalice on Nezglekt. I was really considering hard Scryer Staff on Andrin because we have 2 Vigilances. So these apply a lot of sight, and the Scryer Staff would have applied burn. But I think ultimately Cornelius will apply more than enough burn in the late game that I just wasn't sure that this was worth the 825 gold in the end. So we opted not to go for it, and we'll see how that goes. So with that in mind, let's head out. We'll show a couple of fights before heading to the Hydra, starting with this one on the East Path. And look, we found a Thorn Proliferation, so we'll take the money here, and we'll show you just how good Heiner is into Thorn Proliferation. All right, here we go. So just funny little statistic is we're in Act 3, and we've taken 34 damage so far, most of which on Nezglekt was, I think, self-inflicted with Fanaticism. It's quite funny. All right, we're going to trace. I think I get rid of this Captivating Voice. I think I'm going to get rid of Uproot as well, to be honest. And this setup, because we'll get back an Uproot. We have a couple, so we'll always pull one back. Keep chaining through our deck like usual. It's pretty good. I think we can do this. Okay, put back this trace. And we'll chant Corn Dog, chant Nez. And what this means is I'm gonna expert track, and I think I get rid of Scroll of Speed, Emberstorm, and a Scroll of Intellect, because then I think I can guarantee Shock Nova, even if it's at the bottom of the deck, and then finish things off with an uproot. So we'll pass the turn. We will start with the Bookworm. We will Bookworm again. Alright, now we'll start going through the deck. And still no Shock Nova. Okay, here it is. Alright, we found our Shock Nova. Hey, he still didn't take damage. That's funny. And we will do this. We'll do that. And scroll. Perfect. Alright, Nezglekt. We'll do this on Heiner, I think, and then delay response him. And then we will clarity him, fortune telling him, getting rid of Whirlwind for now, I think. Wow, this looks pretty good, to be honest. Yeah. And we'll do this. Last turn. Alright, so, like I said, normally we're very afraid of Thorn's proliferation, but here I think I'm going to start with an Enrage to get reinforce. Then we will Heat Laser, not barely taking any damage. We will Enrage, Infuriate. Well, I guess we can, yeah, I guess we'll Infuriate first. Heat Laser again, barely taking any damage. It's pretty funny. Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. And we'll finish off this guy. Yeah. There you go. Thorn's proliferation, everyone. It's just bonkers. Absolutely crazy. We'll take this equivalent exchange, I think, on Corn Dog. And we'll keep on moving. We just traded in our trophy at the North Pier. Heading to the patrol point where not only do we have Monty, but we have Monty with heavily armaments. So, yeah, this is a tough one. Let's see how it goes. The line here is stunning. So Monty, he's 28. This is why we keep the Ranger armor on Andrin, because he matches Monty's speed. The Raider's 26, so even if we slow down Monty, the Raider's going to go. So I'm going to start with tracing myself. I'm actually going to get rid of this uproot and the Chant of Initiative, because we have another chant somewhere in the deck. We'll Vigilance using the free one, and you can see the Raider will take away our precious... now we have a mini game of damage taken. I want to keep this as low as possible. And Raider would do 18 damage, which will break our block and throw a knife at someone, which is not very nice. So I want to go ahead of the Raider, even though we'll still survive. So I'm going to set up and to Vigilance. We will set up again, putting the Vigilance back again. We'll trace all these off the top of the deck. We'll scavenge back a setup. Draw. Putting back this Chant of Initiative. We'll Adrenaline. We have to slow down Monty, of course. We can scavenge back the Captivating Voice. We managed to get up to 5 energy. We can slow down the Raider. And now Corn Dog, if we can chant him, is going to go ahead of the Brute. So because we can't get rid of the Scroll of Speed, we have to keep this in order to guarantee a Shock Nova. I have to get rid of all these cards, so we'll get rid of these ones. Now we'll pass to Corn Dog. So we'll Bookworm to thin the deck, of course. Then we will draw to go through the deck. And that's so annoying. Again, Shock Nova, the very bottom card. So we'll scroll, Hellflame, Shock Nova, and I think an Emberstorm, just to reduce their resistances more. These guys get plus damage from Zeal, but they're not going to go. So we'll Tomato Heiner, we'll delay response Heiner, we will scry ourselves getting rid of this additional divine power, I think. We will fanaticism, preserving our damage taken. We'll put clarity back, I think, like this. Scry ourselves. I don't think we need this Night Terror. We'll draw. And I think we put back maybe a clarity. Okay, we'll do clarity on Heiner. We get rid of this, we get rid of this. Ground Slam's going to be good here, I think. Get rid of 1 repetition training, probably. And we will Divine Power. Awesome. So, look, we're going ahead. None of the enemies are going, which is pretty good. We'll start with Enrage. I think we'll Enrage again. We will Infuriate, of course. Then I think we Ground Slam first. Improve Laser. Improve Laser again. We can grab back our Carnage. Bluff the front guy. Bluff this guy. We have so much damage. There you go. Heavenly Armaments with 2 fast units. That's why we play Captivating Voice. So, oh my god, we'll take this Infuriate 100%, and we'll take this Fanaticism. Wow, what a card reward here. And in the shop, can't get lucky in the shop. But wow, those are some good rewards. So we'll keep moving forward here. We handily dispatched this fight, so I'm skipping it. And we'll take a tough choice at the cobwebs and we'll loot. You can see we hit level 4, but I'm actually going to hold all of these level ups because it gives us 5 tries at this node. I'm trying to fail this node with a 4 or 5 or 6 to get an extra corrupt to fight. So I'm not going to level up a single character until we get through the cave. And here we'll take our loot. Fantastic. We'll put this magic tome on Andrin for extra card draw. I would normally put the mixed salad on Cornelius. I like to separate these because the corrupted one doesn't really do much more than the normal one. But I'm going to corrupt this one on Nez because here I can take Boots of Swiftness on Cornelius. We spoke earlier about how important it is to get Cornelius to 18 speed because we can OTK the Hydra. So we finally found our item that's going to allow us to do that. I'll take nothing on Heiner, and I'll skip a couple of fights and rejoin you shortly at level 4. Okay, you can see here, task failed successfully. We fell to the collapsed ground, which is great because it gives us 2 corruptor fights instead of an event, which is more score. And we leveled up Nezglekt and Heiner. We don't do Cornelius or Andrin if we can avoid it because these cards are not good for now. But Fated Future, on the other hand, is unbelievable because on Heiner, we're going to ensure that Whirlwind is in the opening hand. And between Enrage, Whirlwind, that puts us on 16 Fury. We'll double that to 32 and triple that to 96 in a very energy efficient way. It's not energy neutral, but it's extremely energy efficient because Whirlwind will be free. These generate net +1, and these aren't too crazy expensive. So the other thing is Heiner, we also level him to 4. And Fusion Laser, if you haven't seen it, is just absolutely bonkers. It procs 3 times, and for every energy used on a card, we'll deal fire damage, apply burn, and apply vulnerable. And you can honestly just full clear with Enrage, Fusion Laser, Infuriate, with a Whirlwind in between, scattered around in between. That alone will just clear. And so we'll be taking out Ground Slam because we no longer need the vulnerable application because Fusion Laser will take care of that. And let's keep moving forward here. Oh, just worth noting, we managed to get a free upgrade. So Whirlwind, you can see, is upgraded. We also managed to upgrade the equivalent exchange on Cornelius as well. So here, I think we will actually remove 2 cards from the deck. So we're going to level up Cornelius. We'll level up Andrin. And that's essentially free gold. So we'll take another Heavenly Armaments, this time against Colin, and take some cards out of our deck. All right, we're up against Brutus is the champion. Stormbringer is, it's not Colin, but he's still pretty quick. And we'll get Cornelius up to 26, slow them all down. This looks fantastic, so we'll keep drawing through. we have our magic tome, so I can slow down and draw because it's a song. We will trace ourselves, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of these. Okay, perfect. So we can uproot, we can chant, we'll expert tracker Cornelius. And we're going to take a little bit of risk, maybe get rid of a couple of these, and we can always restart the fight if we need to. I'm going to trace Nezglekt, getting rid of this Night Terror, I think, and passing the turn. So Cornelius, we're obviously trying to find Shock Nova if we can. We can always restart the fight. Here you go, perfect, okay, no problem. We'll do our respective scroll of speeds and an intellect for each. We'll Shock Nova, so now they will go behind our team. And because Nez has the overchargeable divine power, going to give him the energy. Start with a Fated Future here. More Fanaticism. I think we Tomato Heiner. We didn't need this detox after all, because Tomato gives buffer. So I'm going to draw, put the detox back, I think. And then scry myself to get rid of it. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Yeah, that looks fine to me. We'll expected, and we'll put back the scry, I think. We should just divine power a little bit because it's more energy. It's less neutral, but energy accretive. And then we'll fortune telling Heiner. Awesome. I actually think that I'm going to get rid of Whirlwind because I would like to just show you how much damage Fusion Laser does. So we're going to get rid of the best card. I want to give you a demo against resistant enemies, by the way, of just how much damage Fusion Laser does. So let's start with... I want to do small amounts of damage here because I want to start with a bluff. Do another bluff. Where's the enrage? Okay, we have one more enrage. So do another bluff. Okay, now I'm going to enrage twice, building up a little bit of fury. We'll do this. We'll improve laser first. That already does a ridiculous amount of damage. Okay, we'll improve laser first. We will infuriate. And then we'll do one fusion laser proc and see how much damage this does. So I'm going to double the fury. That's just one proc on a two energy card. That's a full clear. It's just bonkers. Well, hopefully the Hydras, we can keep them alive long enough to showcase the full combo. And we'll skip ahead and I'll see you there. All right, here we are about to head in. And for high scoring... we're trying to crit succeed this roll. It makes the enemies tankier, but it's the most XP we can get. And success, 8 XP. It's marginal, but it makes a difference. And this is where our strategy to get Cornelius up to 18 base speed, because he goes down to 17 because of the chill, and then he's going to go up to 25. We'll start with a trace. I'm going to get rid of Uproot and Wild Hunt. And the reason is, I would just like to show you how much damage Heiner is capable of on his own without any help needed from Andrin, from Vulnerable. So we're going to deliberately nerf ourselves to showcase Heiner's damage. We'll do these little draws. I don't know if we need anything else here. We'll just do this, I think, because why not? We'll get rid of the scroll of speed, and I believe that we'll trust that we will draw into the key cards. So we're going to get rid of Night Terror, and I think that's fine. We'll keep one clarity, but get rid of the other. And now Corn Dog, he's 25, which is great. We obviously need to slow these two down. They're really fast, 25 and 24. So let's grab our books from the deck. And I don't even need the scroll of speed anymore. Just put on Andrin or something. We'll intellect. We will intellect. And we will intellect. Come on, AK. We did it. Shock Nova. All right, now they're all slower. Slower than us. Awesome. We'll do this. And we'll give Scroll of Intellect to Heiner 2. Giving the energy to Nez. Put out to full energy for Divine Power. We'll tomato and delay response because of the buffer. We'll do this. We will we'll do that, and start with a with one of those. Then we'll scry ourselves, getting rid of the fanaticism, I think. Because look, I don't want to take damage. We accumulated a bunch of poison, unfortunately, in the cave. So we're at 96 damage received, which is pretty annoying. I'm going to put back this expected prophecy, and we'll fated future. We will just do one divine power, and then we'll fanaticism. We'll scry, I guess. I think we can get rid of carnage here. Yeah, that's fine. And maybe a repetition. And then we'll do a fortune telling. Perfect. Whirlwind is in the top, so we'll stick with what we've got. Big old divine power. 22 bless. Pass the turn to Heiner. And don't blink, because they're going to be gone pretty quick. What do we have in the deck? Okay, our Infuriates are in the deck, which is annoying. So I'm going to start drawing with a bluff. Okay, we found one. And we'll draw. We'll draw. Okay, perfect. We have our Infuriates ready to go. We'll enrage, and we'll start, I guess, with a whirlwind like this. And then I think I'm going to improve laser. They're already so low, so ridiculous. But before I even heat laser again, I'm going to fusion laser like this. Bear in mind, we have carnage in our discard pile, ready to repetition training back and play multiple times. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to infuriate to double, and then infuriate to triple. That did 1,000 damage. Oh my god, it's so dumb. I'll take this last reward for sure. And I'm not going to take this carnage. I actually took one out, if you noticed, from Heiner's deck, because I'll go through the Act 4 and the level 5 game plan shortly, but we only need one carnage from here on out in Heiner's deck. And to be honest, for most of the run, we just don't even need this. As you can see, Fusion Laser is just insane. So yeah, there you go. Turn 1 Hydra kill. And it was not even close. We had so much overkill. Crazy. As we head into Act 4, here is a reminder of the high score pathing route. Okay, we've skipped ahead and we've just read some books. We're level 5. For Andrin, we are marking for death, Nezglekt, Omniscient, Cornelius Wildfire, and Heiner Tireless for some extra energy. The decks, honestly, have not changed that much. As you can see here, we're pretty much doing the same thing with Andrin. Nezglekt, same deal. We're pretty much on the same game plan. Cornelius, we changed a few Scroll of Intellects to blue. Eventually, we'll take out the Shock Nova for the final bosses. I put in this Fire Blast just in case, because we'd like to proc Hellflame 3 times. So it would be, Hellflame, Scorching, Fiery Shield, Fire Blast, and that would give a good amount of burn on the final bosses. So that was the thinking with putting the Fire Blast in the deck. And then Heiner, his deck, I think, is exactly the same from where we just left off against the Hydra. From an equipment standpoint, we took a Fervent Ring. I got offered it. It's a tiny bit of burn because Carnage has bleed, but it's honestly not a big deal. Cornelius, we bought this Flamey. It's just a bit of extra burn. We'd like to accumulate a lot of burn on the final bosses. And speaking of which, we always take the blobs in high scoring. And Nezglekt, we put the lava blob on Nezglekt and not Cornelius, because the blob multiplies the burn by 0.3. So it's actually more burn to put it on Nez. After Corn has applied all his burn, then he'll pass the turn to Nezglekt, and Nezglekt will multiply it all by 0.3. And similarly on Andrin, Asmodee, it applies Mark, applies a little bit of burn, it applies slow, so I bought this just for the final bosses to get him down. And we're going to go to this fight, and we're against a fire immune champion monster. We're against the Armageddon Corruptor that increases all their resistances. And I'm going to skip to the end turn, to Heiner's pop-off turn of this fight before we then go to the twins. So I just wanted to show you they could not be more resistant. We're going to skip to the pop-off turn, so I'll see you there. Okay, here we are. It's Heiner's pop-off turn against Armageddon. And we'll start with a bluff, I think. Yeah, here we go. Here's our enrage. Very nice. And sure, we'll improve laser. Why not? And we'll heat laser. And we'll enrage for some energy efficiency. And this is just so ridiculous. I'm going to whirlwind again. It's just so crazy. We haven't fusion lasered yet. I guess we will carnage. No, we don't even need to do that. We don't even need to do that. Let's just fusion, infuriate. Yeah, it's just crazy. Okay, here we go. Just a couple of things before we kick off. I took a yellow scroll of speed out of Cornelius's deck. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. And the reason is Andrin's deck is so consistent that I'll almost always get 2 chance of initiative off these days. So that second scroll of speed, just not needed. And without it, we'll be able to chain through his entire deck anyway once we take out Shock Nova for the final bosses. So don't need the second scroll of speed. Second thing to note is we're still under 100. We're at the twins. And we've taken less than 100 damage so far the entire run in M16, which is pretty cool. We're going to get rid of this Captivating Voice and Wild Hunt. We'll Vigilance, start chaining through the deck. Chant of Initiative draws us a card these days. And we'll keep chaining through. And I'm going to nerf ourselves. We're not going to uproot just because I don't need this fiery shield because I'd rather put the energy into equivalent exchange, I think. And we will trace Heiner, I think. I'm gonna trace him quite aggressively because I'd like to get a few key cards in the hand. Get rid of these, and then we'll trace, I guess, Nez as well, just to see if there's anything that we want to get rid of. I think this clarity can go. Okay, pass the turn to Corndog. We're going to get a bunch of burn on the enemies here. First, we'll dig out our books like usual. We should be drawing a ton of cards, so I don't want to take the scroll of speed. I want to draw into it. Will we draw into it? Yes, we will. Perfect. Okay. Then we'll scroll of intellect each. Hellflame, Scorching Ray. Look at the amount of burn this is going to do. Amazing. We'll equivalent exchange Heiner, like we said. And this is going to be multiplied by 0.3 because of the little blob here. Well, Night Terror, the front guy, is quite resistant. And Fated Future. We're going to start proccing our level 3 with just a single Divine Power. We're going to keep chaining through the deck anyway. We'll draw a couple, put the Innovate back. I think we'll scry ourselves. Get rid of Innovate. And probably keep going. Perfect. We'll put this back. We'll... I really want to stay below... We could do more damage, but I really want to stay below 99... below 100 damage. So I don't want to fanaticism myself again. So we could do more damage. I don't want to lose the stat. Get rid of these. So I'm going. You can see I'm being very aggressive with what I'm putting into the discard pile. There. Okay. Perfect. So we will do a big old Divine Power, and I'm going to try to win without Carnage again. See if can we do it. Do we need Carnage to beat the twins, or can we beat them without it? So let's see how we go. I'm going to start with an improved, I think, then a heat. Then we will enrage, whirlwind, bluff, just to proc it Iron Furnace once. And we haven't even done our pop-off yet, which is fusion, infuriate. We have carnages. But let's see if this will do it. Yeah. Oh my god, that's 2,500 damage. It's just unbelievable. We're not going to take anything here. I'm so sad that this is just so bad. They definitely need to balance this. We're playing full fury, and this is just awful. So, yeah, I think they need to balance Devastate for sure. And so we won't take anything here. From the chest. Oh, we'll definitely... Oh, wow, we've got some really nice ones here. Okay. So, there's some choices to make. I think we do Nullify on Andrin. I think that's the right call here, even though we lose the... we lose this. I I think it's Butcher Block on Nezglekt, just because the upside, Tomato's pretty good, but the upside of premium meats after we've Divine Powered is too juicy. We'll Dimensional Crystal Cornelius, which is going to be incredible with Scorching Ray. It's going to double that. We'll get the bosses to full burn for sure. And this is a really interesting one. Dryad Mask is great, but I think that Crusader Helmet, now that we're up to like 500% damage multiplier because of the Fury, I think that the base damage from Crusader Helmet is actually much, much more than just a Moonfire. This is going to add like 3 base damage to every spell that gets, or every attack, and it will get multiplied by like 500%. So I think that Crusader Helmet is more damage. We'll see. Let's check things out. We'll do one more Corruptor fight. I think there's a Thorns Proliferation on the way. Yeah, we'll take this Thorn Proliferation, and then I'll see you in the final bosses after this little showcase here. We'll skip to the final turn, Heiner's pop-off turn for this Thorn Proliferation showcase. Okay, you can see we're at Heiner's pop-off turn, and I've deliberately let the thorns accumulate on the enemies. I still want to stay under the 100 damage taken mark. And one of the cool things, again, about Fusion Laser is it doesn't proc thorns. So this is more of like a passive damage. So I'm at 38 block, so I can bluff once. And I'm going to Enrage. And you can see there's a bunch of thorns. So I'm going to Fusion Laser, give them some more thorns. I guess I can, Repetition Training, give them some more thorns. Repetition Training, give them some more thorns. And so on and so forth. So look, no damage from the thorns. So that's pretty cool. Gonna double and triple. No thorns damage. Amazing. We're at the final fight just before Hands and Archon, and the Corruptible Reward was a discounted shop. And of course, we picked up this Nullifier on Andrin. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get rid of this Lava Orb from Cornelius. He applies so much burn, and we have the Dimensional Crystal. We're going to put Netherblade on Corndog. He procs so many hits that we should be able to get enemies to full vulnerable very quickly between the Nullifier and this Netherblade. So that was a pretty cool one. Sure, I'll put the Red Steel Cloak on Andrin, I guess. And we get a card remove here with Nezglekt being a priest. And we inevitably fail. And because we are going to get so much vulnerable, I'm going to take out Uproot, which don't need that anymore. I did change it to blue for the final bosses, but hey, we don't need it. I'm also going to take out the Innovate that served us so well for most of the run, but we're getting Heiner up to full energy extremely consistently that this always feels like a waste of a slot. And then lastly, Cornelius, we're going to get rid of this Shock Nova just to get him down to 15 cards. So these are the decks, very lean. Look at this, 16 cards on Nezglekt, 15 on Corndog, and 15 plus the boon on Heiner. And the goal with Heiner is going to be very interesting. So the combo that we're trying to do is, we're of course trying to discount Whirlwind to 0 cost. We'll have 10 energy. We're trying to get Heiner to 10 energy. And to spend our energy, we're going to be playing Improved Laser and Heat Laser. They both cost 1 each, so that would get us down to 8. And then in theory, 2 Enrages would kind of get us back up to 10. They're net +1, so this would cost us 1 each. Would go down to 8. Then Enrage would get us up to 9. Another Enrage would get us up to 10. So we have 10 energy to spend. Okay. So then we, of course, Fusion Laser, as you know. Infuriate. That's 6 energy cost. Okay. So Carnage would cost us 2. That gets us to 8 energy spent. And then Repetition Training would bring it back. That's 9 energy spent. Carnage would cost 1. And then if we play Carnage again, that's 10 energy spent. So we would not have enough energy to play this last Repetition Training. We need to spend 11 energy to get it back, make it cost 0, play it for 0, and then Repetition Training it back. So how do we get 11 energy? Well, the plan, as you'll see, is we're actually trying to shuffle Heat Surge out of the starting hand and draw into it with bluffs and these enrages, so that we could actually get 11 energy to play the full combo, because midway through the combo we'll draw into the heat surge after we've spent some energy, and we'll be able to play Carnage like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times or something crazy like that. So that's the thinking. That's why we only need 1 Carnage, not 2. So it's improved, heat, enrage, fusion, infuriate, and then bluff into this heat surge to get back an energy, and then we can Carnage, repetition, Carnage, repetition, Carnage, and repetition, Carnage. that's the thinking. Honestly, it's going to be so much overkill, but that's how we that's the theory crafting, so to speak. So we'll give Heiner this, and I'll see you in the Hans fight. Okay, we're at full power here. We'll wild hunt and we'll take a look, getting rid of the setup so that we can last reward it. So we'll vigilance, and we'll draw, and we'll get the setup back like this. Perfect. Okay, we'll put this back. We'll keep on chaining through the deck. Put this back, I guess. We'll scavenge back the setup, and we'll put expert tracker back. We will chant Nezglekt, and I think we trace Heiner a couple of times. We'll get rid of these, I think. Yeah, let's see that. Then we'll trace again. I'm being very aggressive to execute the game plan. I'm not sure if it's going to matter, but these are all good. I like to keep these in the opening hand. And then we'll, of course, get back our setup to draw into the expert tracker. And another trace, that's nice. So we'll trace Heiner again, I guess. Getting rid of Carnage. And we can expert tracker Cornelius. Worth noting that we only have 1 blue scroll of intellect, all the rest are yellow these days, and that's so he can chain through his entire deck. We took the Shock Nova out, so if you watch, we will guaranteed get through the entire deck. It's going to be a thing of beauty. Look at this. We'll start with Nezglekt receiving energy because of divine power, and then Nezglekt is of course going to get the Inspire draws too, so we have to give him the Inspire version. We'll give Heiner the others, and we've drawn through the entire deck. Incredible. So we will Hellflame, and we'll Dimensional Crystal our Scorching Ray. And we're going to get Hanshuk up to 139 burn before we even do the second one. And each one of these is applying Vulnerable because of Netherblade. I'll finish off with a Fire Blast just to get an extra Vulnerable proc. And Equivalent Exchange Heiner for a couple of energy instead of Fiery Shield. Passing to Nez. Can we roll a good meat? No, we cannot. That's a shame. Never mind, never lucky. I think I'm going to kick things off here with a Divine Power, just to get a few energy out there and start building back up with Meditate and Fanaticism. We will Expected Prophecy, putting back the Fanaticism. Expected Prophecy again, putting back Fanaticism. Because we are still at 99 damage taken at the final bosses. And I'd like to stay under 100 damage taken. That'd be pretty cool, I think. So we'll put this Fanaticism back. Probably should have taken that out over the Innovate. We'll Detox Delay, Fated Future, Clarity. We'll check Scry here. Perfect. We want to get rid of this Heat Surge to get to 11 energy. I honestly probably don't think we'll need it. And we do want to get a Shuffle here, so I'll put the Repetition Training. So we have 9 cards in the deck. Our discard pile is going to shuffle into our deck, and Heiner should be able to chain through his entire deck. So he's at 22 Bless. Let's see what happens here. We're hoping not to draw Heat Surge. Perfect. We did not draw Heat Surge. It's somewhere in the deck. So I can do an Improved Laser, a Heat Laser. I think I will just Carnage for energy efficiency. Then we will Whirlwind. This is not the most damage, but I'm trying to at least show some of the combo. We're just gonna have so much overkill. It's crazy. There we go. We're back up to 9. We went from 8 to 9. So we could, in theory, repetition back this Carnage, right? And then we have Fusion Laser. We can Infuriate. think this is just going to kill him. Oh my god, I did 2,500 damage to him. Infuriate. And now we could Carnage, repetition back the Carnage, making it 0 cost, and then repetition back the Carnage again. So this is obviously just ridiculous overkill. Like, we're going to absolutely demolish him. But that was the thinking. Carnage, repetition back the Carnage, repetition back the Carnage. Oh, that was the theory craft. Obviously, it's probably not needed. It was just so much damage. And now we'll fight the Archon. All right, we're gonna skip straight to the pop-off turn. You've seen the setup, you know what's going on. So I'll start off with a heat laser, I think, just to give us some fortify. We'll bluff, we'll improve laser, just like we spoke about, and then we'll enrage. Okay, this is annoying. We will enrage again. Yeah, we have the heat surge and the carnage. So I'm gonna, for energy efficiency, I'm gonna whirlwind first, then fusion laser, and then bluff, and then we'll go back up to 10. Perfect. Now I have a few procs of this. It's just so ridiculous. Ready? We'll do this, and then infuriate again. That's 3,000 damage, by the way. And our carnages are doing 6,000 damage. It's 2,000 plus repeated. So this carnage is going to put him to like minus 1,000 health. Then we would have 3 more carnages. So what is that? That is another 18,000 damage. That's 19,000 damage of overkill. So we would kill him and have another 19,000 damage to to spare. Yeah, Heiner carry, everyone. This is bonkers. We still have a fusion laser proc as well. This is probably even more than 19,000, maybe 20,000 of overkill. I don't know. So crazy.
This is a story of how they saved me.
All right, there we have it. Heiner carry. I have to say this comp is close to my heart. When I first started high scoring, the meta was a little bit different, the pathing was different, and people weren't using the all-extreme corruptor mod. That being said, the conventional thinking was that Heiner was basically unplayable, and Cornelius was a bit of a joke. So it's really satisfying to not only find a comp that involves the two, but actually a comp that I think is very, very good. It is very safe. If you look at this as a reminder, we took 99 damage for the for the entire run, which is pretty impressive. I think the comp is excellent. This is a long video, and there's a lot of information. And if I was to try and synthesize everything that we've learned today into one sentence, it would be this. Arena champion. It's just not that good. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care, and good luck in your Across the Obelisk runs.